The Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution provides protections that ensure fair treatment in court. These rights include the right to a speedy trial, an impartial jury, to be informed of charges, to confront witnesses, and to have legal representation. Let's look at some court cases that highlight these rights and help us understand how the Sixth Amendment applies, even to teenagers today. Imagine a high school student named Bob who is accused of shoplifting. Under the Sixth Amendment, Bob has the right to know the charges and evidence against him, a fair and public trial, and a lawyer to defend him in court. This could be daunting for anyone, especially a teenager. The following cases show how the Sixth Amendment protects people like Bob. Right to counsel Gideon v. Wainwright, 1963. In this landmark case, a man named Clarence Earl Gideon was accused of theft. Gideon, who was poor, could not afford a lawyer and had to defend himself. He argued that the Sixth Amendment entitled him to an attorney even if he couldn't pay. The Supreme Court agreed, ruling that everyone has a right to legal representation in criminal cases, regardless of their ability to pay. This case means that even teenagers like Bob will have access to a defense attorney if they're accused of a crime. Without this ruling, many young people would be left to defend themselves in an unfamiliar and complicated legal system. Right to a speedy trial. Barker v. Wingo, 1972. In Barker v. Wingo, the Supreme Court examined what it means to have a speedy trial. Willie Barker was accused of serious crimes, but his trial was delayed for over 5 years. The court decided that while delays can happen, a person has a right to a trial that isn't unnecessarily delayed. This case means that if Bob is accused, he should not be forced to wait years for his trial. For teenagers, this is particularly important since a long delay could mean missing out on school, friendships, and important life events. Right to an impartial jury. Duncan v. Louisiana, 1968. Gary Duncan, a young black man, was accused of battery in a racially tense situation. He requested a jury trial, but the state denied him one because his offense was classified as minor. The Supreme Court ruled that the right to an impartial jury applies to both serious and minor cases to ensure fairness. This case means that people like Bob, regardless of the crime they're accused of, have the right to a jury that will decide fairly, without prejudice. It ensures that teens can't be unfairly judged by people who might be biased based on social status, race, or age. Right to confront witnesses. Crawford v. Washington, 2004. In Crawford v. Washington, Michael Crawford was convicted based on a recorded statement made by a witness who was not present at trial. The Supreme Court ruled that defendants have the right to confront and question witnesses against them directly. For teenagers, this right means they can challenge any accusers face-to-face in court, rather than being convicted based on second-hand information. If someone claimed they saw Bob committing a crime, Bob has the right to question that person in court to ensure all facts are clearly presented. Right to be informed of charges. In re Galt, 1967. In this case, a 15-year-old named Gerald Galt was taken into custody for making a prank call. Galt's parents were not informed, and he didn't know all the charges against him. The court ruled that minors have the same due process rights as adults, including the right to know why they are being held. This ruling emphasizes that even teenagers must be told of their charges and have the right to a fair hearing. This means that if Bob is ever in trouble with the law, he and his family have a right to know exactly what he is being accused of and to prepare a defense.